Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Renegade Immortal based on novel. Lee Moo-won took a few steps forward and stood next to Wang Lin. She took the pill from his hand and carefully examined it. She sighed and said, to be more accurate, this is a pseudo-rank 7 pill, so it is really an upper rank 6 pill. We must have missed the correct time to open the seal by too much time, which caused the pill to crack. If we had opened it at the correct time, it would have been above rank 7. The Chi Huang sect is part of a rank 4 country, so they must have created a rare upper rank 5 pill and then sealed it. From the looks of the seal, it must have been at least several thousand years ago. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he stared at the pill and asked, "Do you know what pill this is?" Lee Moo-won's pondered for a while. Her eyes suddenly lit up and she said, the Chi Huang sect has 3 pills it is known for. If WAN is correct, this is the Cyan Cloud pill. This pill should allow you to break past the core formation stage. Wang Lin pondered a little. After taking the pill from Lee Moo-won, he said, "Wait for me." Lee Moo-won nodded. She looked gently at Wang Lin and said, "You can relax. Even if you fail, WAN will destroy the 7 heaven-stealing pill furnaces. If I do that, they won't chase us." A cold light flashed across Wang Lin's eyes. He calmly said, "Things shouldn't be that troublesome." With that, he sat down in front of the pill furnace. He pointed his finger at his brow and disappeared. Lee Moo-won bit her lower lip. If she was gone from her house for too long, it would arouse suspicion. After pondering for a while, she waved her right hand on the wall and a formation appeared. Lee Moo-won walked through the formation and disappeared from the chamber. At that moment, at the ground above the chamber, Ouyang-zi's refining had reached its end. His eyes were filled with excitement as he muttered to himself. After a long time, he let out a grunt as he jumped up. He waved his hand and the lid flew off the pill furnace. At that moment, the sky changed color. The previous dark sky suddenly lit up as a golden pill floated out from inside the pill furnace. 6 souls slowly appeared around the pill. These souls were the ones who sacrificed themselves before. They sat down cross-legged, floating around the pill. Ouyang-zi's expression became serious as he clasped his hands and shouted, "It is all thanks to you 6 fellow cultivators that my pill was successfully created. I cannot repay you guys enough. This pill will be called the 6 Tao Spirit Pill in honor of all of you." The moment those words were spoken, the 6 souls let out a pleased expression. They looked at the pill with some unwillingness on their faces as they disappeared. At the same time, the pill slowly descended and was grabbed by Ouyang-zi. Although his expression was calm, he was very excited in his heart as he thought, "I finally succeeded. Now I will be able to try refining a rank 6 pill." As for Wang Lin, he sat in the heaven-defying space, cultivating, staring at the pill in his hand. After a while, he revealed a decisive look and threw the pill into his mouth. The moment the pill entered his mouth, it turned into a line of blue spiritual energy. As the blue line traveled through Wang Lin's body, the ancient god tactic kept devouring the endless spiritual energy of the blue line. At the same time, Wang Lin's core quickly rotated as it grew larger. Slowly, slivers of purple spiritual power appeared in his core. As more and more of that purple spiritual energy gathered in his core, his cultivation finally reached the peak of late-stage core formation. Currently, his cultivation kept increasing as his core kept growing bigger. Soon, drops of golden liquid dripped from his core as if his core was melting. Once his main body can break into the nascent soul stage, then his G realm will also have its first breakthrough. At that time, he will be the strongest person in the country of Chu. Even inside the Sea of Devils, he will have the ability to set up his own sect and compete against spirit-severing cultivators. The important thing was that he would have the ability to return to the country of Zhao to get his revenge. Ting Huiyuan, this name was something that Wang Lin had hated for more than 400 years. This was a hatred that could no longer be described. If anyone dared to block his path, they would have to pay the price in blood. Wang Lin didn't know what cultivation level Ting Huiyuan had reached in these 400 years, but as long as he hadn't reached spirit severing, once Wang Lin reaches nascent soul, his fate won't change. Wang Lin couldn't believe that in a mere 400 years, an early-stage nascent soul cultivator would be able to break into the spirit-severing stage. It has to be said that after nascent soul, even each small stage, it's extremely hard to break through. The cultivation world was a pyramid. The higher you go, the fewer there are. Among the 7 cultivation levels of chi condensation, foundation establishment, core formation, nascent soul, spirit severing, soul transformation, and ascension seeking, nascent soul was the barrier. If one can reach nascent soul, that means they have truly stepped into the cultivation world and can reach for the top of the cultivation world. Other than revenge, there was something else that was urging him to get stronger, the danger he constantly felt from the red-haired man in the land of the ancient god. He believed that with the red-haired man's genius mind, he would find another way to escape from the land of the ancient god. Once the red-haired man escapes, the first thing he will do is to find Wang Lin. After fusing with the inheritance of knowledge, he could feel that he was slowly changing every day. This was a change in his mentality, as his thoughts became more and more in line with the thoughts of an ancient god. Before entering the cultivation world, Wang Lin's biggest dream was to pass the state exam, make his parents proud, and allow his parents to live a good life. But when fourth uncle gave him the chance to become an immortal, everything changed. Back then, he thought the city near the village was already the biggest city out there. As for the king's capital, he never even thought about it or seen it. When he first entered the world of cultivation, his goal was to become an immortal. At the same time, he learned that the country of Zhao was only a small country on this planet. Then, there were some major events that forced Wang Lin to constantly find new ways to make himself stronger. His goal was to return to the country of Zhao and get his revenge. After visiting one country after another, Wang Lin's horizons broadened a lot. He found out that the ground he stood on was called planet Suzaku, and that the country of Zhao was only a rank 3 cultivation country. Above that, there are rank 4, rank 5, and even rank 6 cultivation countries. He knew that the real ruler of planet Suzaku was the country of Suzaku. Time slowly passed. Aside from the G realm, there was another thing that was blocking Wang Lin, his own talent. As for whether this would succeed or not, no one really knew for sure. The thousands of years of spiritual energy that was stored inside the 7 heaven-stealing pill furnaces was slowly being drained by Wang Lin. His ancient god's tactic absorbed all of that spiritual energy like a black hole. The moment the main body fused with the avatar, the ancient god's tactic also underwent a change. In the first level of the ancient god's tactic, there was only devour. The second level was absorption. Devour and absorption are 2 completely different levels. Devour means that all types of energy that enters Wang Lin's body will be devoured and used by Wang Lin. This is a passive state. Absorption is an active state where one can absorb someone else's cultivation. In reality, the reason the ancient gods are so strong is because of the ancient gods' tactic they possess. Every ancient god, when they awaken after being born, have the ancient god's tactic imprinted in their mind. As an ancient god, only after reaching the second level of the ancient god's tactic would they have strong attacking capabilities, by using the ancient god's body to activate the second level of the ancient god's tactic. All of the spiritual energy within miles would be absorbed and devoured by the first level of the ancient god's tactic, forming a loop. But the ancient god's tactic was something that only belonged to the ancient gods. If Wang Lin had gotten the inheritance of power, he would be able to reach the second level, but with his current mortal body, it was too difficult. Although Wang Lin's ancient god's tactic had some differences compared to the real second level, it was nothing. Time quickly passed, and it was now the day of Li Muwen and Sun Junwei's cultivation pair ceremony. On this day, the entire Cloud Sky sect was filled with a festive atmosphere. There were no clouds within miles of the sect. The sky was blue and countless lights were flying toward the sect. Almost every sect and every cultivation family in the country of Chu were gathered here. All of the people that came were also elders and important members of each sect or family. This type of atmosphere was something only the Cloud Sky sect could have. If it was any other sect, it wouldn't be possible. Because there were too many guests, the Cloud Sky sect's defensive formation had been extended to cover the entire mountain range. Countless outer sect disciples had also been sent out on patrol while greeting all of the guests. It has to be said that Li Muwen's position in the Cloud Sky sect was quite unique. After all, she was one of the 3 rank 5 alchemists in the sect. Sun Junwei's position was also very well known. He was the son of an elder of the outer sect, who was at the middle stage of nascent soul, and the only person in the last century who might break into later stage and become one of the ancestors of the sect. In addition to all of this, the outer sect also had high hopes for Sun Junwei. Once he reaches nascent soul, there will be a series of actions done to set him up as one of the candidates to become the next head of the outer sect. If his father successfully becomes a sect ancestor, then he will become the outer sect's sect head for sure. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to be paired up with Li Muwen in the cultivation pair ceremony. In one sense, it was the inner sect's way of chaining down Li Muwen, but also for the outer sect to pave the way for Sun Junwei to become the outer sect's sect head. All of the visitors knew of this matter. It could be said that this ceremony was for the inner and outer sects to establish a closer relationship. After all, the Cloud Sky sect was split into two parts. The inner sect practiced alchemy, while the outer sect practiced cultivation. Only because of these two working together has the Cloud Sky sect reached the heights it has today. Sun Junwei was wearing a long red robe. His tall and straight posture gave him a gentle, yet cool atmosphere. He was currently standing behind the elders of the inner and outer sect, welcoming guests. At that moment, an old man in a grey robe was several steps in front of Sun Junwei, looking at him. He took a few steps until he was before Sun Junwei and whispered, "Junwei, don't think so much. If that person who knows Elder Li shows up, then I will make him pay. No matter how powerful his cultivation is, it will be pointless. I have already discussed the matter with the sect head, so you can relax." The old man's tone was flat, but it contained a dignified atmosphere. This person was Sun Junwei's father and an elder of the outer sect. Sun Junwei respectfully replied. Although he could lie to everyone about Wang Lin's matter, he could not lie to his father. He had long told his father about his encounter with Wang Lin. When he heard that the sect head was involved, he felt very confident. When he raised his head to look at the sect head, he saw the old man with white hair turn around and faintly smile at him. This person was the outer sect's sect head, Liu Fei. This person's cultivation was very mysterious. It was said that he had taken a pill to hide his cultivation, and was already at the late stage of nascent soul. Unless someone has higher cultivation than him by a step, it was very hard to see through his cultivation. Standing next to this old man was another white-haired elder. He was the head of the inner sect, Song Qing. Behind him was a group of people with varying levels of cultivation, but if they were in any other sect, they would become the head alchemist of that sect within a day. Haoran sect's sect head, Sima Yunnan and Elder Shuli are here to celebrate this occasion. A voice boomed from the distance, traveling all the way through the Cloud Sky sect's mountain range. At the same time, two rainbows arrived together. The two rainbows landed inside the sect, revealing two figures. One of them was wearing a purple robe, and was filled with an ancient atmosphere. This person was the Hao Ren sect's head, Sima Yunnan. After he arrived, he let out a laugh and said, "Brother Song and Brother Liu, congratulations." Accompanying him was Xu Li, who was wearing a light green robe. With Xu Li's status, he couldn't talk, so he just clasped his hands and smiled. The outer sect head, Liu Fei, laughed and took a few steps forward. He clasped his hands and said, "Fellow cultivator Sima, we haven't seen each other for more than 10 years. If it wasn't for my sect sending out an invitation, I don't think I would have ever seen you again." The inner sect head, Song Qing, rubbed his chin and said, "Old man Sima, you promised me a 1,000-year-old Zhu fruit. Did you bring it today?" Sima Yunnan laughed, "The two of you don't need to embarrass me so. Forget it, since your memory is so good, I did bring the Zhu fruit. However, I have a grandson who is about to form his core, so you better give me some 180 grain pills, or I'm not giving you the Zhu fruit." The three of them let out a laugh, as they exchanged a few words with each other. Liu Fei waved his hand and Sun Junwei quickly guided Sima Yunnan to the main hall. Sima Yunnan carefully studied Sun Junwei and said, "You really are a genius. So young, yet you have already reached the door to the nascent soul stage. Very good. Within 100 years, the Cloud Sky sect will have another nascent soul cultivator." Sun Junwei let out a gentle smile and said, "Senior is too kind. Junior doesn't deserve this praise." Sima Yunnan nodded and walked into the main hall with Xu Li. There were several tables positioned within the main hall filled with fine wine and fruit. There were already many people inside the main hall, chatting with each other. After Sima Yunnan arrived, he couldn't help but talk to many other people along with Xu Li. Sun Junwei quietly took a few steps back and left the hall. Liu Yu sect's Qian Yizhenren and Elder Shi Tianlai came to celebrate this occasion. Another loud voice came, causing Sima Yunnan to look outside. At that moment, all of the sects and cultivation families were arriving. Aside from the big sects that were welcomed by Sun Junwei personally, everyone else started to arrive in the main hall. Soon, the entire main hall became almost packed as they chatted with each other. Some of the less social people were sitting in corners by themselves or cultivating with their eyes closed. Surrounding the walls of the main hall stood a row of outer sect disciples, who were all core formation cultivators or higher. They stood there with their backs as straight as pine trees as they looked straight ahead. Shortly after, Liu Fei and Song Qing walked into the main hall. Behind them were dozens of elders followed by Sun Zhenwei. Among them was Li Muwen with a purple veil over her head. After they entered, all of the visiting guests of various sects and cultivation families stopped talking and turned to look at them. In the main hall, Liu Fei looked at Song Qing. He smiled and took a few steps back. Song Qing nodded. His gaze swept across the entire main hall and he said, "Fellow cultivators, this is a day of celebration for my Cloud Sky sect." He wasn't even able to finish speaking before the ground suddenly started shaking while a monstrous pressure appeared from underground. Under the pressure of this monstrous presence, all of the nascent soul cultivators in the hall stood up in terror. They all spread out their divine sense underground to see what was going on. Li Muwen's eyes revealed a tender look. She knew that Wang Lin had come. In the chamber under the square outside the main hall, a crack appeared on the lid of the pill furnace Li Muwen made. With a loud bang, the crack extended from the lid down to the body of the pill furnace. At the same time, a ray of rainbow light leaked out from the crack. The light became brighter and as the crack got bigger, the entire chamber was covered in the rainbow-colored light. At that moment, the chamber was like a fairyland, covered in endless rainbow-colored light. Another wave of cracking sounds came and more cracks appeared on the pill furnace, causing even more light to escape. A hand reached out from the pill furnace and with a bang, the pill furnace exploded and scattered all over the chamber. A young man with flowing white head floated out of the pill furnace, his body alternating between transparent and solid. His eyes were closed as countless circles of colored light gathered around his back. If one looked closely, whenever this person's body flickered to the transparent state, they could see a small person that looked exactly like him in his dantian. The little person was emitting a rainbow-colored light and looked very mysterious. His body kept changing between transparent and solid while emitting a great amount of pressure. After a long time, his body stopped changing and started to become more solid. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and at the same time, the little person also opened his eyes. The little person's eyes no longer had pupils, but looked like they were replaced by red lightning. This wasn't just a single lightning bolt, but a cloud of red lightning. A destructive force came from the red lightning, and all of the rainbow-colored light in the room immediately dissipated as it escaped upwards. There were countless rays of red lightning wildly moving around the chamber. The shattered pieces of the pill furnace were instantly turned to dust. When the cultivators in the main hall above noticed what was happening, they all spread their divine senses out to check what was going on. However, the moment their divine senses went underground, they were repelled by a powerful pressure, causing them all to withdraw their divine senses in shock. The sky above the entire Cloud Sky sect changed as a powerful pressure burst forth from underground. It felt as if the entire Cloud Sky sect was shaking. Rainbow-colored clouds gathered in the sky and the entire main hall started to tremble. All of the members of the different sects and cultivation families' expressions changed. A few of the people who had seen this before exclaimed, This is someone reaching the nascent soul stage." The moment those words were said, besides the nascent soul cultivators in the room, everyone else revealed looks of disbelief. It has to be said that reaching the nascent soul stage is a very important matter, and you would normally have someone guarding you during the process. Now that someone had just reached the nascent soul stage in the Cloud Sky sect, the first thought everyone had was that the Cloud Sky sect had just gained another nascent soul cultivator. Just when the surrounding sect and cultivation family members were about to express their congratulations, Sima Yunnan let out a laugh and said, "Congratulations to the Cloud Sky sect for obtaining another nascent soul cultivator. I wonder if I know this person. Why don't you invite that person here for us to see?" Song Qing and Liu Fei looked at each other, then turned around to look at the elders. All of the elders tried their hardest to think of who would be trying to break into the nascent soul stage right now, but couldn't think of anyone, so they all shook their heads. The Sky Cloud sect's outer sect head's expression was extremely ugly. He forced a smile and said, "I want to see who has the guts to use my Cloud Sky Mountain to reach nascent soul. His nascent soul is mine." Liu Fei's face sank. He waved his sleeves and disappeared. At the same time, all of the nascent soul cultivators left the main hall. All of these people went out with bystander attitudes. It has to be said that with Cloud Sky sect as the #1 sect in the country, it was hard to see something like this happening. As for the reason everyone gathered today, it seemed they all had already forgotten about it. Compared to reaching the nascent soul stage, the cultivation pair ceremony just couldn't compare. Just as they exited the main hall and walked into the square, the 7 heaven-stealing pill furnaces let out loud humming sounds. Then, the 7 pill furnaces all got pushed outwards, as if there was an invisible hand moving them. Large cracks appeared on the ground in the center of the square. A thick layer of cold air escaped from the cracks in the ground. The square suddenly became very cold. Although Sima Yunnan's expression was normal, he was secretly shocked. This type of aura was not something a normal nascent soul cultivator could release. He turned to look at the others in the square. Although the 10 or more nascent soul cultivators all had calm expressions, their eyes all displayed how serious they were. Liu Fei let out a cold snort. He moved like lightning into the cracks in the ground as he shouted, "Fellow cultivator, used my Cloud Sky sect to reach nascent soul. Do you think the Cloud Sky sect can be pushed around?" Right after he entered the crack, a scream came from inside. This scream came from Liu Fei right after he finished his sentence and was filled with fear and panic. At this point, Sun Junwei had also left the main hall. Because he didn't have the ability to teleport like the nascent soul cultivators, he was naturally a step behind. Li Muwen slowly walked out as well. She looked at Sun Junwei's back and let out a mocking expression. She then looked at the crack in the ground with a tender look. Just as the grey-robed elder was about to check the crack, he noticed Sun Junwei and said, "Junwei, go back inside. You shouldn't be out here. Since you already came, don't leave." A voice as cold as the chilly winds of winter came out of the crack. Sun Junwei's body went soft as he fell to the ground. He was very familiar with this voice. This was the voice that had caused him to be so nervous lately. Then, a young man with flowing white hair floated out from within the crack. There was a shining purple star on his forehead. He was like 1,000-year-old unmelting ice. The moment he appeared, the surroundings got even colder. In his right hand, he held Liu Fei by his hair. As he rose up out of the crack, Liu Fei's pale face and closed eyes also appeared. At the same time, Sun Junwei's father quickly backed up as he stared at the young man. All of the other Cloud Sky sect's nascent soul cultivators' eyes also became cold. All of the surrounding nascent soul cultivators from other sects and families were all shocked besides Sima Yunana. They all quietly watched from the side to see how this would develop. After all, if even Liu Fei couldn't stand up against this person, then even if they all went up to help, it would be pointless. Song Qing sucked in a breath of cold air. He waved his hand to an elder. Just as the elder took out a jade and sent it out, the white-haired youth turned to look at the elder and Song Qing, revealing a mocking smile. Song Qing's heart suddenly shook. He felt as if he was completely seen through. He only ever got this feeling when he met the sect's ancestors. He couldn't help but take a few steps back in horror. As for that elder, he was even worse off. He immediately dropped the jade and didn't dare to move. He felt that if he continued to try to send the jade over, the consequences would be unimaginable. Song Qing took a deep breath. He looked at Liu Fei, who was in the white-haired man's right hand. He forced himself to calm down and said, "Fellow cultivator, this whole matter is a misunderstanding." A misunderstanding. This white-haired youth was Wang Lin. His gaze swept across the crowd. When he looked at Li Muwen, a hint of tenderness flashed across his eyes. He raised his left hand and said, "Come." Li Muwen let out a beautiful smile as she walked toward Wang Lin. All of the nascent soul cultivators moved out of the way, as no one dared to fight for the Cloud Sky sect right now. Sima Yunnan took a deep breath as his eyes lit up. Sima Yunnan was a very ambitious person, but the Cloud Sky sect had always been above his Hao Ran sect. Although he hated them greatly in his heart, there was nothing he could do. The moment that white-haired youth appeared, he immediately remembered Shuli's description. He was now 100% sure that this was the disaster that came from the Sea of Devils. Everyone moved out of the way as Li Muwen walked toward Wang Lin. Even Song Qing, whose face was pale, forced a smile as he got out of the way. Only the grey-robed man's face was extremely ugly, mostly because Li Muwen was his daughter-in-law. She immediately walked toward that man when he called her. This made him feel embarrassed. But he was very smart. Despite being angry on the inside, his expression quickly returned to normal as he moved out of the way. Li Muwen slowly walked through the nascent soul cultivators. Normally, when they met her, although they would greet her with smiles, they would still be arrogant and forceful in their speech. But today, all of these nascent soul cultivators showed signs of fear, and their attitudes toward her had changed as well. Li Muwen knew that all of this was because of one person. A person who caused them fear, a person they dreaded, a person who could easily defeat Liu Fei. This person was her man, Wang Lin. After arriving next to Wang Lin, Li Muwen let out a smile like a flower blooming. At that moment, Li Muwen felt a deep sense of satisfaction in her heart. Wang Lin's gaze moved and landed on Sun Junwei. Sun Junwei's face was pale as he stared at Wang Lin. His normal gentle smile was long gone, replaced with hatred. Wang Lin softly said, "Die." The Ji realm immediately moved and the entire square was instantly covered in an unimaginably powerful divine sense. All of the nascent soul cultivators took deep breaths. Their nascent energy almost went out of control as they trembled. This feeling left just as fast as it came. Sun Junwei quivered, then his eyes became unfocused. His body fell down and twitched a bit before becoming motionless. The grey-robed man stared at Sun Junwei, dumbfounded, as his eyes became red. He quickly moved next to Sun Junwei and took out a bottle from his bag of holding. However, his hands began to tremble until he threw away the bottle. He stared at Wang Lin and shouted, "Why?" Wang Lin shook his right hand. Liu Fei's body trembled as he opened his eyes. His face was pale and his cultivation was being suppressed by a mysterious force. His eyes were filled with rage as he shouted, "If you want to kill me, just kill me. Why humiliate this old man?" Song Qing's heart was very anxious. Although he didn't send any messages to the ancestors, they still should have noticed that something was wrong. Why were they not here yet? He took a deep breath. He knew that all he could do was stall for time. He forced a smile and said, "Senior, the Cloud Sky sect didn't know that Elder Li was your friend. I'm sorry for offending you. This is the Cloud Sky sect's fault. How about you come with me to the main hall, and I'll try to make it up to Senior." With his age, how could he not know what had caused of all this? He secretly thought that the ancestors were really too nosy. Li Muwen was doing fine, but they had to mess with her, resulting in her friend coming. As for Sun Junwei's death, he didn't mind it too much. In his mind, Sun Junwei was only a core disciple of the outer sect. Wang Lin ignored Song Qing, but pointed at the grey-robed elder and slowly said, "Today's business is my own personal affair. If anyone dares to intervene, don't blame me for being ruthless." All of this happened in the blink of an eye. The grey-robed old man coughed out blood as his eyes became unfocused. His nascent soul crawled out from the top of his head and tried to escape. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He slapped his bag of holding with his right hand and took out a bronze-colored mirror. Both of his hands formed a seal as he threw the bronze mirror. The mirror shone a green light that immediately landed on the escaping nascent soul. The nascent soul let out a scream as it emitted green smoke. Wang Lin waved his right hand and put away the bronze mirror. He held the nascent soul with a merciless expression as he waved his hand and wiped out the consciousness of the nascent soul. He handed the nascent soul to Li Muwen and said, "Take this to refine a pill." Li Muwen let out a sweet smile as she obediently put it in her bag of holding. She nodded and delicately said, "Okay, this should be able to make a high-quality spirit pill." The surroundings became very quiet. The people inside the main hall also appeared in the square, and they all saw what had just happened. None of them dared to breathe too loudly as they looked at Wang Lin. Xu Li was among them and he quickly lowered his head to cover up how shocked he was. As for the surrounding nascent soul cultivators of the Cloud Sky sect, they were all angry, but none of them dared to speak as they looked at Wang Lin with dread. The nascent soul cultivators of the other sects all backed up even more. They decided that no matter what, they wouldn't get mixed up in this. Shortly after the grey-robed man was killed, Wang Lin moved without any hesitation. He waved his right hand and Liu Fei's body was forced to follow him closely by an invisible force. Wang Lin hugged Li Muwen as he charged toward the closest elder of the Cloud Sky sect. The elder's expression immediately changed as he attempted to teleport. However, just as he was teleporting, he felt an unimaginable pressure surrounding him, as if he was being played around with by a giant hand. He suddenly coughed out blood as he was forced out of his teleportation. He felt a cold sensation in his abdomen. As he looked down, he saw that his nascent soul had already been taken. At that moment, Wang Lin's figure had already moved on to the next elder. All of the nascent soul cultivators moved back and took out various magic treasures to attack Wang Lin. Nascent soul cultivators were not to be taken lightly. They all had their own dignity. If they were fighting one-on-one, they might run, but when they were fighting many against one, even if that one's cultivation was very high, they would still dare to fight. Of course, the most important thing was that these elders knew that the ancestors would be here soon. However, they still had to hesitate a bit when using their magic treasures, because Liu Fei was so close to Wang Lin. As a result, their attacks were a bit slow. At this point, only 3 nascent soul cultivators were left, including Song Qing. The 3 nascent soul cultivators were standing back to back, revealing horrified expressions. In reality, if these nascent soul cultivators swarmed Wang Lin and attacked all at once, even if Wang Lin somehow managed to kill them all, he would be heavily wounded. That was why Wang Lin didn't charge in, but waited for someone to come to investigate first. Then, he took the opportunity to use his powerful cultivation to shock everyone. That was why he didn't kill Liu Fei, or anyone else at first. He used this shock to allow Li Muwen to safely arrive next to him. After that, he wouldn't have any worries left. For this battle, Wang Lin's goal was to cause shock and awe. He used the shock created the moment he killed Sun Junwei's father as an opportunity to start killing. All of this was so that these nascent soul cultivators couldn't group up and attack. At the same time, Liu Fei was his ace. If they grouped up and attacked, then he would immediately use Liu Fei as a meat shield. The reason he didn't kill any outsiders was to prevent them from interfering. After his display of power, all of the other nascent soul cultivators were already filled with fear. After killing 3 people, Wang Lin stopped and looked up into the sky. He saw 5 white-haired elders looking at him with eyes filled with rage. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.